am dating my brother. In October, I, 17 female, went to visit my sister M, 24 female, who is currently attending college. When I got there, we went over to the apartment of her friend P, 25 male. At the time, P had his little brother S, 17 male, visiting him as well from Portland, Oregon. My sister goes to college in Idaho. When we walked in, my sister introduced me and jokingly pointed out my age to one of her friends, saying I was too young for him, because he usually dates young girls, but it'd be illegal to date me, so my sister was pointing that out to tease him. S then immediately responds, "Does that mean I can date her?" I had a boyfriend at the time, so M said, "No, sorry, she's taken." Throughout the visit, I got to know S a little better, and we sort of became friends. About a week later, M and P started dating. On New Year's, they got engaged and got married in April. Before the wedding, MP and I all made a plan that I would flirt with S while we were in Portland for the wedding. The day after we arrived in Portland, we went to the beach. S, his cousin L, 18 female, and I sat in the back seat of Ms. car with P in the front as we drove to and from the beach. My puppy Mocha was also in the back seat with us, and S absolutely adores her, so he sat in the middle so that he could pet her as she sat on my lap. On the way to the beach, I mentioned that the wedding reception where I live is on the same day as prom. And M suggested that S and I go together because his prom is on the same day and he would be missing it. While at the beach, S told me that I should let him keep Mocha because he doesn't have a dog, and my family has 3. I told him that there was no way in a million years that I would let someone take Mocha. One of Pia's groomsmen turned to S and said, "There's an easy way to make you both happy. You could just marry her." S and I both glared at him and continued playing with Mocha. As we walked back to the car from the beach, it started raining, so L and I clung to the arm of S to stay warm. On our way home, we stopped at Tillamook, and when I was outside playing with Mocha, waiting for my food, S came outside and again tried to convince me to let him keep Mocha, and of course I declined. He then looked at me with a smile and said, "Maybe in the future, after all, there is still a way to make us both happy." He then walked back inside as I stared at him, shocked that he would say that. On the drive home from Tillamook, I fell asleep on the shoulder of and he ended up falling asleep on me. Apparently P got a picture, but I was too embarrassed to ask to see it when he was talking about it. The night before the wedding, I realized that I had feelings for S, so I planned to tell him the next day at lunch after M and P were married. I ended up getting scared and not telling S that day. The next day at the wedding reception, S and I were forced to dance with each other. Not that I'm complaining. While dancing, I whispered to S, "You know, if our siblings weren't married, I don't think the idea of us dating would be a bad one." S smiled at me and said, "Neither do I." After the reception, I was sitting next to S, kind of cuddling with him in his living room when I had to leave to go back to the Airbnb and pack because I was driving home in the morning. As I got up to leave, I hugged S and gave him a kiss on the cheek. He stared at me for a second, then said, "That's what I was going to do." S and I texted every day after that, and I eventually convinced him to go to prom with me. The day of prom, I was cuddling with S on our siblings' couch in their apartment while they got ready for the reception, and we played video games when we started staring at each other until he put his forehead against mine and I kissed him. He stared at me for a second and then looked away to continue playing the game.